What if I told you that one phone call changed everything for me? My mother, 71 years old at the time, was sitting in her kitchen. She had just come back from the pharmacy, and she told me almost proudly that her new doctor had put her on a popular supplement, one that millions of adults over 65 take every single day. She said, "He told me it would keep my bones strong." And I felt my stomach drop. I literally said, "Mom, stop taking that immediately." She was confused. She said, "But my doctor said it was fine. Everyone takes it." That moment hit me hard, because I realized something terrifying. If my own mother, the daughter of a physician, almost walked into this trap, how many other adults over 65 are swallowing this supplement right now without asking a single question? Before you click away, let me be very clear. I am not against supplements. I am not against your doctor. But what I am about to share with you contradicts what most people have been told for decades. And the most dangerous one on this list, number 1, has been linked to a risk so shocking that when I read the research for the first time, I immediately called my mother back. In the next 20 minutes, I am going to show you 5 popular supplements that become genuinely dangerous after the age of 65. And more importantly, I will show you what to take instead, starting tonight. If you are over 65, this message could literally save your life. My name is Dr. Williams. I have spent over 2 decades in internal medicine working specifically with adults over 60. Every week on this channel, I share evidence-informed health information explained clearly for people in your age group. If you haven't already, subscribe now. What we're about to cover is exactly why this channel exists. I am done staying quiet. I have sat across from too many patients who ended up in my office with a preventable complication and looked at me and asked, "Why did nobody warn me about this sooner?" This is the conversation I wish every patient had before it was too late. Here is something most people don't realize. Your body after 65 does not process supplements the way it did at 40, not even close. Your kidneys filter more slowly. Your liver metabolizes differently. Your stomach acid decreases, changing how nutrients are absorbed, and your cardiovascular system, the network of blood vessels that keeps every organ alive, becomes more fragile with every passing year. This damage doesn't announce itself. It builds for months, for years. And by the time you feel something wrong enough to visit a doctor, in the overwhelming majority of cases, the damage has already been done. A report from the National Institutes of Health found that adults over 65 who take certain common supplements without medical guidance have a 38% higher rate of adverse events compared to younger adults taking the same doses. That number is why everything I'm about to show you matters so much. And here's what terrifies me most as a doctor. At least 3 of the 5 supplements I'm about to describe are in your medicine cabinet right now, tonight. Let's begin with number 5 on our list. High-dose calcium supplements. A lot of people over 65 take calcium pills every single day. They were told decades ago that calcium keeps bones strong. Their doctor recommended it. The bottle at the pharmacy says bone health, so they take it faithfully, year after year, believing they are doing something protective. But here's what most people don't realize. When you swallow a high-dose calcium supplement, that calcium does not all go to your bones. Your bones can only absorb a limited amount at one time. The excess calcium stays in your bloodstream, and here is what is happening inside your body. That extra calcium begins to deposit in places it was never meant to be. It collects along the walls of your arteries. It builds up around your heart valves. Over time, it creates hard, calcified plaques that narrow your blood vessels and restrict blood flow. A landmark study published in the British Medical Journal followed over 12,000 adults over 60 for an average of 11 years. The results were disturbing. Adults who took high-dose calcium supplements had a 30% higher risk of heart attacks compared to those who got their calcium from food alone. Think of it this way. Imagine your arteries are flexible garden hoses. Over decades, they have stayed soft enough to expand when your heart pumps. Now imagine someone slowly filling those hoses with cement. That is what excess calcium does to aging arteries. The hose becomes stiff, the water can barely get through, and one day, the pressure is too much. I remember a 73-year-old woman who came into my clinic after a mild heart attack. She exercised regularly, she ate well, she didn't smoke, her family had no heart disease, but she had been taking 1,200 milligrams of supplemental calcium every day for over 15 years. Her coronary artery scan showed severe calcification. When I told her the supplements likely contributed, she broke down crying. She said, "I was taking those to protect myself." That is the cruelty of this. The people most at risk are the ones trying the hardest to be healthy. How many milligrams of calcium are you taking right now? Write the real number in the comments, because that number tells you exactly how much risk you've been quietly accepting. The good news is this: you do not need to give up calcium entirely. You need to get it from food. Dairy, leafy greens, sardines, and fortified foods deliver calcium slowly, in amounts your body can actually absorb. If you must supplement, keep the dose under 500 milligrams per day and take it with vitamin D and vitamin K2, which help direct calcium to your bones instead of your arteries. Talk to your doctor about your specific needs. Now, as serious as that was, the next one is even more common, and most people over 65 take it every single morning without a second thought. Now let's talk about number 4, excessive vitamin E supplements. This one surprises almost everyone. Vitamin E was once considered a miracle antioxidant. Magazines promoted it. Doctors recommended it. People took 400 international units a day or more, believing they were protecting their hearts and preventing cancer. But here's the part that surprises almost everyone. The research turned completely against vitamin E in high doses, and the reversal was dramatic. When you take large amounts of supplemental vitamin E, it doesn't just act as an antioxidant. It begins to interfere with your blood's ability to clot. That means cuts heal more slowly, bruises appear more easily, and internally, the risk of hemorrhagic stroke, a stroke caused by bleeding in the brain, increases significantly. A major clinical trial published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, known as the SELECT trial, followed over 35,000 men for several years. The findings were clear. High-dose vitamin E supplementation did not prevent heart disease. It did not prevent cancer. In fact, there was a 17% increased risk of prostate cancer in the vitamin E group. Think of vitamin E like oil in an engine. A small amount keeps everything running smoothly, but flood the engine with too much oil and the parts start slipping. Gears can't grip. The whole machine begins to malfunction. That is what excess vitamin E does to your clotting system. I once treated a 68-year-old man who had been taking 800 international units of vitamin E daily for over a decade. He came in after a fall in his garage, a simple bump on the head, but the bleeding would not stop. His blood was too thin from years of excessive vitamin E. He required emergency intervention. That fall should have been nothing more than a bruise. The good news is this: if you eat a balanced diet with nuts, seeds, and olive oil, you are almost certainly getting enough vitamin E naturally. There is no proven benefit to supplementing beyond what food provides, especially after 65. Stop the high-dose pills. Let your food do the work. And now, as dangerous as vitamin E can be, the next supplement on this list is even more widely used, and the danger it carries is one almost no one talks about. Now let's move to number 3, unmonitored iron supplements. If you are over 65, this one is critical. Iron supplements are commonly prescribed for anemia, a condition where your blood doesn't carry enough oxygen. And for people who genuinely need iron, it can be life-saving. But here is the problem. Many older adults continue taking iron supplements long after their anemia has resolved. Or worse, they start taking iron on their own because they feel tired, assuming low iron must be the cause. And here's what most people don't realize. After 65, your body loses the ability to efficiently eliminate excess iron. Iron doesn't leave your body easily. It accumulates. And excess iron is not harmless, it is toxic. Excess iron generates what scientists call free radicals, unstable molecules that attack your cells from the inside. These free radicals damage your liver. They damage your heart. They accelerate the kind of cellular destruction that leads to cancer. A study published in the journal Gut followed over 40,000 adults and found that elevated iron stores were associated with a significantly increased risk of colorectal cancer. In adults over 60, the association was even stronger. Think of excess iron like rust forming inside a pipe. At first, you don't see it. The water still flows. But over months and years, that rust eats away at the pipe from the inside. Eventually, the pipe weakens, it cracks, and by the time you notice the leak, the structural damage is already severe. That is what excess iron does to your organs. I remember a 70-year-old patient who had been taking iron supplements for 6 years. Her original anemia had resolved within the first year, but no one told her to stop. When she came to me with unexplained liver problems, her ferritin levels, the measure of stored iron in the body, were dangerously elevated. Her liver had been silently absorbing damage for years. If you are currently taking iron, when was the last time your doctor checked your levels? Tell me honestly in the comments, because continuing iron without monitoring is one of the most common and most dangerous supplement mistakes I see in adults over 65. The good news is this: a simple blood test, a ferritin level, and a complete blood count tells you exactly whether you still need iron. If your levels are normal, stop supplementing immediately. If you need iron, take it only under medical supervision with regular blood work. Now, as dangerous as unmonitored iron is, the next one is something millions of people take every single day specifically because they believe it protects them. And that belief is exactly what makes it so dangerous. Now let's talk about number 2, megadose vitamin D supplements. I can already hear you saying, but everyone says vitamin D is essential. And you're right, vitamin D is critical for bone health, immune function, and mood. But here is where the danger begins. Somewhere along the way, the message shifted from make sure you're not deficient to more is better. And that shift is putting millions of adults over 65 at serious risk. When you take very high doses of vitamin D, 5,000, 10,000, or even 50,000 international units at a time, your body absorbs far more calcium from food than it normally would. That excess calcium floods your bloodstream, and here is what is happening inside your body. Your kidneys, which are already working harder after 65, are forced to filter out that excess calcium. Over time, this can lead to kidney stones, kidney damage, and in severe cases, kidney failure. A study published in The Lancet followed adults taking high-dose vitamin D supplements over 3 years. The results showed no improvement in bone density. None. But the group taking the highest doses actually had increased bone turnover, meaning their bones were breaking down faster, not slower. The study also documented a significant increase in falls among the high-dose group. Think of it this way: vitamin D is like sunlight for a garden. The right amount makes everything grow. But too much sun scorches the soil, dries out the roots, and kills the very plants you were trying to nurture. That is what megadose vitamin D does to your kidneys and bones. I once treated a 75-year-old man who had been taking 10,000 international units of vitamin D every day for 2 years. His neighbor had recommended it. He never had his blood levels checked. When he came to me with severe back pain and fatigue, his calcium levels were dangerously high. His kidneys were showing early signs of damage. He said, "I thought I was helping myself." And he genuinely believed that. The good news is this: get your vitamin D levels tested. It is a simple blood test called 25-hydroxyvitamin D. If you are deficient, your doctor can prescribe the right dose. For most adults over 65, 600 to 1,000 international units per day is sufficient. Never take high doses without blood work confirming you need them. And now, as dangerous as everything on this list has been, the number 1 supplement is the one that shook me to my core when I first read the research. because it is the one I see in almost every medicine cabinet of every patient over 65, and the danger it carries is something most doctors never take the time to explain. Now let's talk about number 1, the most dangerous supplement on this list. Daily high-dose multivitamins formulated for seniors. This is the one I planted in the hook. This is the one that made me call my mother. And this is the one that will change how you think about your medicine cabinet forever. Almost every adult over 65 takes a daily multivitamin. The labels say senior formula. The packaging shows active, happy older adults. The marketing tells you this one pill covers all your bases. But here's what the marketing will never tell you. These formulas combine multiple fat-soluble vitamins, vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin K, into a single pill at doses designed for a younger body. After 65, your liver processes fat-soluble vitamins more slowly. They accumulate. They build up to levels your body was never designed to handle simultaneously. And here's what most people don't realize. Many of these senior multivitamins also contain iron, calcium, and zinc in combinations that interfere with each other's absorption. Calcium blocks iron absorption. Zinc blocks copper absorption. High-dose vitamin A competes with vitamin D. You end up absorbing too much of some nutrients and not enough of others. The result is not balance. It is metabolic chaos. A major study published in the Annals of Internal Medicine analyzed data from nearly 400,000 adults over a 12-year period. The conclusion was stark. Daily multivitamin use showed no reduction in the risk of heart disease, cancer, or premature death. A separate analysis from the same journal found that certain combinations of supplements, particularly those containing vitamin A, vitamin E, and beta-carotene, were associated with a slight increase in mortality risk. Think of a senior multivitamin like throwing a handful of random seeds into a garden without checking the soil. Some seeds need acid soil, others need alkaline, some need full sun, others need shade. When you dump them all in together without knowing what your soil actually needs, most of them either fail to grow or crowd out the ones that would have thrived. That is what happens inside your body when you take a one-size-fits-all multivitamin without knowing your actual nutrient levels. I remember a 69-year-old woman, otherwise healthy, who came to me with chronic nausea, hair thinning, and joint pain. She had been taking a senior multivitamin plus separate calcium, vitamin D, and fish oil supplements for over a decade. Her blood work showed dangerously elevated vitamin A levels and early signs of liver stress. When I told her to stop everything and retest in 3 months, she was stunned. She said, "But I thought I was being responsible." 3 months later, without any supplements, her symptoms had almost completely resolved. Her liver function normalized. She felt better than she had in years. If you are over 65, how many supplements are you taking right now? Count them. Write that number in the comments below. That number is the starting point of a conversation you need to have with your doctor this week. The good news is this: you do not need to throw everything away tonight. What you need is a blood panel. A comprehensive metabolic panel and a nutrient level test will tell you exactly what your body is deficient in and what it has too much of. Then, and only then, should you supplement. Targeted, specific, monitored. That is how supplementation should work after 65. Not guesswork, not marketing, science. Now, before we wrap up, there are 5 rules I need you to hear. Because without these, you could follow everything I just said and still not get the full benefit. Rule 1. Never start a supplement without a blood test first. Your body at 65 is not the same as your neighbor's body at 65. What you need is specific to you. Guessing is gambling with your health. Rule 2. Fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K, accumulate in your body. They do not flush out like vitamin C. If you take too much, the excess stays in your tissues for weeks or months. Always monitor these with blood work at least twice a year. Rule 3. Never combine supplements without checking for interactions. Calcium and iron compete for absorption. Vitamin E thins your blood. If you're on blood thinners, even fish oil can be dangerous. Tell every doctor everything you take. Rule 4. If a supplement label says mega dose or ultra strength, put it back on the shelf. After 65, your organs process nutrients more slowly. What sounds powerful on a label can be destructive inside your body. Rule 5. Revisit your supplement list every 6 months with your doctor. Your needs change as you age. What you needed at 65 is not what you need at 72. These are not optional adjustments. Every one of these mistakes quietly cancels the results you are working toward. Let's quickly summarize the 5 supplements that become dangerous after 65. 5. High-dose calcium. 4. Excessive vitamin E. 3. Unmonitored iron. 2. Megadose vitamin D. And number 1, the daily senior multivitamin taken without blood work or medical guidance. Each one alone is dangerous. Together, they create a perfect storm. The truth is painful but empowering. Many of the health complications I see in adults over 65 are not fate. They are not bad luck. They are preventable. You don't need expensive treatments. You don't need extreme routines. You need awareness, the right blood tests, and a doctor who takes the time to explain what your body actually needs. Your liver has been working for you in complete silence every single day of your life, filtering toxins, processing nutrients, keeping you alive without ever once asking for anything in return. Your kidneys have done the same, so have your bones, your heart, your blood vessels. They have carried you through decades of living. Start giving something back. Stop flooding them with supplements they never asked for. Give them what they actually need, nothing more, nothing less. Before you leave, I ask you to do 4 important things. First, subscribe to this channel. Every week, I share life-saving health information explained clearly for adults over 65. Second, like this video. It helps this message reach others who may not know they are at risk. Third, leave a comment. Write, "I'm calling my doctor this week." Your commitment may inspire someone else to take action. And finally, share this video with someone you care about. A partner, a parent, a friend. You may never know whose life you protect. This is Dr. Williams. Take care of your body. It is the only one you will ever have. I will see you in the next video.